안녕하세요. Hello from Tokyo, Japan. My name is Hajime Sugiyama from Mitsubishi-Electric. Today, it's an honor to speak in the Smart Manufacturing Best Practice Conference 2020. I would have loved to go to Korea to do this speech, but I can't, so today I think I'm going to have to settle for online. Today, my topic is 5G in manufacturing. First, just a short introduction of my company. I work for Mitsubishi-Electric and we're an integrated electrical electronic supplier. And I am from the factory automation division. My name is Hajime Sugiyama. I'm from Tokyo headquarters and I'm what you call an industrial IoT evangelist. It's my job to talk about emerging technologies, how they impact factory automation like big data, AI, the cloud, data analytics, and today I'm going to talk about 5G. I'm sure everybody has heard a lot about 5G and the endless possibilities. Wide broadband, low latency, the ability to connect multiple devices. It's really, really exciting, and I think it's going to have a big impact on the factory floor as well. This is a factory manager's wish list, what he wants to change in the factory. And always, the factory manager has wanted to get and throw away wires because there are so many wires in the factory floor. Wires in the panel, wires to the I/O blocks, wires from machine to machine, wires from the machines to the IT servers. I mean, a factory has so many wires, it's unbelievable. And it's not just the installation time, it's also the maintenance time. Because when you change the layout of a factory, you always have to rewire them as well. And if you can get away with this with 5G, it's a factory manager's dream. The other dream they have is the self-configuring factory, a factory that thinks by itself. With 5G, the ability to communicate directly to the cloud, where a very, very smart AI is possible. And if that is possible, then a factory manager would not have to think for himself. The AI will figure out how is the most optimized, best way to manufacture things. And even if a problem occurs, he will be able to solve those problems by himself. So that's why everybody is really, really looking forward to 5G technology. So you see all this news, but will a fully 5G operated factory run in 2020? Unfortunately, I think not. Wireless has been around quite a long time. You see 4G, 3G, 2G, wireless LAN in the factory, and also there are wireless standards like wireless HART. But in reality, this is a survey from 2017, only 2% of the networks in a factory are wireless. So there's a big gap. This is because there are still hurdles we need to clear in order to use 5G in the factory. The first is standardization. Mitsubishi Electric is also involved in the 5G ACIA working groups where we're discussing what the specification for industry usage 5G should be. You see a lot of 5G technology around you, but still most of this technology is only for commercial use, and we need to make it more secure and safe for industry. So we're still discussing that. And the standardization for version 17, release 17, is only planned for next year. So we have to wait a while. What this means is that it's going to be difficult to develop 5G industrial compliant products such as 5G robots, 5G PLCs, 5G routers for the factory unless the standardization is finished. So I think it's going to take another couple of years till you see 5G industrial capable products in the factory floor. And then there's the issue about security and safety. Of course, 5G has a lot of cool technology that makes it more secure and more safe than previous networks. But if you work in a factory, you still want to be 100% sure that it's safe, because we're having people that are working next to AGVs, working next to robots. So we're going to do some testing to assure that it's safe. And also, you want to do some extra checking on security that hackers are not capable of getting into your network. So I think this is going to be more time to ensure that 5G is safe for the factory. And the final thing is politics. I think you see a lot of news that some countries are not comfortable using other countries' 5G technology, and they're putting some export control issues on these. So I think this is going to be a barrier in establishing a 5G international standard. So this is going to be another hurdle, and it's going to take a little more time in order to be able to use 5G at a full-blown scale in the factory. I just want to explain one misunderstanding that a lot of people have about 5G. Of course, 5G has wide broadband. It's 10 times faster and low latency. The delay time is significantly shorter than 4G, and it's able to connect to a lot of devices. But the issue is it can't do all three at the same time. It's not an unlimited network, meaning that if you use a lot of wide broadband and low latency for some devices, you're not going to be able to connect to many devices at the same time, because the network capacity as a whole is still limited. And I think a lot of people think you can do three at the same time, but that's not the truth. You can't have it all. You'll have to select between the units that you use 5G and the units you don't use 5G. And at the end, I think there's still going to be a lot of wiring in the factory. And because of these network issues, I think the factory is going to use what we call hybrid 5G, meaning that for inside their factories, they are going to establish their own local 5G network, their own 5G antenna, where they have control of. Because in a factory, you don't want to have interference from outside due to security reasons or due to traffic reasons that might affect the way you collect data or the way you are moving around your robots and AGVs. So you'd like to separate it so you have control of the network capacity. But on the other hand, if you want to connect data to other factories, you want to use public 5G, of course. In that case, we think there's going to be a hybrid 5G, meaning a mix of local 5G networks and a mix of public 5G networks. One thing you shouldn't also forget is 5G is not free. Of course, there's going to be data costs. I think these data costs are going to go lower and lower because there's going to be a lot of government initiatives to make 5G more popular, but still it costs money. And it's going to cost a lot of money for equipment. You just can't have 5G for your robots. You're going to need a 5G interface to connect to your robots, 5G routers, and all of this is going to cost you money. Also, you're going to have a lot of engineering costs. A lot of factories don't have wireless engineers in their factory. You're going to have to recruit your own wireless network engineers or use a third party to do them for you. And there's going to be a lot of maintenance costs. Meaning every device you put on the network, every extra device you put on the network, you're going to need to change the system, do a lot more engineering, and you're going to have to make sure that the 5G network is working smoothly during operation. So it's not going to be free. There's a lot of costs related to 5G, installing a 5G network. And also don't forget, it's a never-ending story. We've been through 1G, 2G, 3G. We're at the 4G era moving on to 5G. But believe it or not, we're already talking about 6G, which is going to be released in 2030. And we're going to have 7G, 8G as well. So think about the future when you install your components. There is a lot of things you can do without 5G, and this is just a reminder. I mean, let's look at a robot vacuum cleaner. It moves around with AI, cleans using the AI, which is the smartest route and more efficient route to go, but this doesn't use any wireless technology at all. It's a combination of using sensors and AI on the device itself. So there are lots of things you can do without 5G. Take a look at the factory of the future. This is what everybody has an image of when they talk about 5G. You have robots on AGVs moving from machine to machine. You see no wires between each other, and they're talking to each other through networks. So self-decision making, AGVs and robots, and all of this is copied in the digital twin. But you can do this with the technology of today. This demonstration was not done recently with 5G technology. It was done in November 2017. This is our booth in the International Robot Exhibition. So first, it's what you want to achieve with using 5G, and you can do it with the technology of today. A lot of people think, we have to install 5G in our factory, use the latest technology. But first, I want you to wait and ask yourself the question, why are you installing 5G? What is the reason? At the end, in manufacturing, the most important thing is a return on investment. And if it's going to cost too much money to install 5G, it's probably not worth doing it. I want to go in some use cases of 5G in action so you have a better image of how 5G is going to be used in the factory. And a lot of things you can even start using today. For instance, real-time monitoring from tablets. Currently, if you want to see the inside of a machine, you'd put a camera there, and with a wireless connection, you try to look at it with a tablet. The problem is 4G and 3G are too slow, and you can't see the image you want because manufacturing is very, very precise. So without the real-time image, it's impossible to do troubleshooting or guess what's wrong with the machine. But 5G is going to solve this. Immediately you're able to see what's going on in real time in 4K, 8K imagery. And this is going to help a lot to see in places where you can't go by yourself. I also think that there's going to be a lot of 5G, AR, VAR technology used in the factory. For instance, let's look to a panel. In the past, for these kind of wiring, what will you do is you look to a manual and then do the wiring. In the future, you'll put these AR, VR glasses on, and it will immediately tell you where to put which wire. The problem with, in the current technology, is because the wireless connection is too slow, you have to have a cable attached to your AR or VR glasses. But this is too slow, and it's very, very dangerous. With 5G technology, we will be able to throw away this wire and in a wireless solution be able to do this kind of assembly. So I think you can use this technology today, and it's going to be very, very helpful. One more thing is remote maintenance is a great application for 5G. Right now with the coronavirus, you're not able to send your engineers to other countries and do troubleshooting. So what a lot of people are doing is they're bringing a camera in the local place where you have trouble and trying to do remote troubleshooting. The problem is, as I said, the imagery is not good enough, so the expert cannot see the actual problem on the factory floor. But 5G will solve this, and he will be able to do detailed troubleshooting even from a remote location. Also good things is there's a lot of how-to videos being created right now, but it takes a lot of time to download these images, especially if they're in high resolution like 4K, 8K. With 5G, you have immediately access to the videos, and downloads will be possible not in hours, not in tens of minutes, but in seconds and in minutes. So a reality check. I talked 5G, it's going to take some time, but there's a lot of places you can use technology for clear imagery, like in mobile and AR, VR applications. But I think you're going to have to wait a little while because there still needs 5G antennas to be installed and 5G components need to be developed, like PLCs, robots, and routers to switches. But the 5G possibilities are unlimited. Today, I talked about some use cases about remote maintenance and AR, VR. I think the next step is going to be applications like AGV as in robots, AGV and machine coordination, where AGVs are taking the parts from one location, feeding it to other machines or to the warehouse. And this will be possible with 5G technology. Then the factory's managers' dreams will come, where we are not wiring machines to each other, we have wireless control and connection from machine to machinery. And at the end, all these machines will be connected to the smart cloud, and you will have your self-decision-making factory, which everybody has been dreamed of. One more interesting application, I think, is going to be wireless robotics and drones, which I would like next to talk about. AI and vision are interesting technologies, and it's going to change how the factory works. For instance, look at this application. There's cameras over here, and it's telling the robot with the vision cameras and AI where to pick up the parts. And also, if a human is inside and it's dangerous to hit them, that they should stop or avoid the human hand. It's a really, really good application because still in the factory, a lot of robots and humans are going to work together. But the problem with this application is it only can be done in this place. So if we move it to somewhere else, we're going to have to change it. And that's where drones come in place. In the factory, it's always been the goal to replace a human with a robot. First, you replace the human hand with a robot, then you replace the human legs with an AGV. And the next goal is to replace the human eye with a sensor and AI. If you can use a drone, for instance, when you go to this part to pick up things, it will see the model, sense it, and tell the robot how to pick up the part. It will move to the next part, and then the robot will take a shot and teach the robot how to put it down. Go again, and based on the new picture, tell them how to pick up the new part. This is really a good technology because all the programs and know-how is in the cloud. So you only need one robot to do this. In the past, you would have to need 2 robots to do this. This is only possible with 5G technology, but when the technology matures, I'm sure we're going to see more and more of these applications. So 5G is a really exciting technology, and in Mitsubishi Electric, we've also got our own license for the demonstration test of local 5G systems in our Nagoya factory, and we are already starting testing, verifying if this wireless transmission between local 5G base stations and factory automation products work. In the future, we would utilize this demonstration factory to apply it to various products and applications you've seen today, like remote control, maintenance, and AR and VR. I think that's the end of my presentation. I just wanted to tell everybody and have them know that, of course, 5G is exciting, but still, it's going to take some time to be installed in factories because of the hurdles. Imagery applications, high resolutions, we can do this already today. And so let's dream about the endless technologies like the drone and start getting ready. Just some final words. We have made an e-factory model line in the Smart Manufacturing Innovation Center where you can see our latest technologies. We have a strong focus on edge computing, and also, it's difficult to make the perfect factory in one step. So we have a step-by-step approach that you can see in this factory model line. If anyone is interested, here's the directions, and if you want to make an appointment and see smart manufacturing in action, please go to our website to make an appointment. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. 감사합니다 and bye-bye. Thank you very much for listening. Hope to see you in the future and keep safe.